Hey, everybody. Hi, Zoe. Hey. Can you hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, great. Excellent. You know, I'm so excited that I have you all on because, as you know, we had a pretty big storm yesterday, and I didn't know if we'd even be able to be here today. And I'm so excited. You have no idea what we've already seen. Wait till I tell you. It's incredible. But what happened is, because of the storm, we lost power, and I wasn't able to email everybody out the link. So I'm glad those of you who have fortitude and figured out how to do it. So we do have a pretty good, decent group here. So I am excited. About a week ago, or a little bit longer, I reached out to Suffolk County Parks, because Suffolk County Parks has a program that protects a very endangered species on Long Island. So what I'm going to have you do now is mute your mics. Perfect. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So I had this idea. These piping plovers, they're a very important bird species for Long Island. And those of you who have attended Barrens to Bay Camp, you know about these birds. We talk about them every year. Remember, we'll look at their nests. We'll have the nests up on the, we have to try to find them, and they're so camouflaged, it's difficult. So what better than to piping plovers, right? Let's come out here to the beach where they live and let's see them firsthand. So I called Suffolk County Parks because they have this amazing group of plover stewards that all they do all summer is identify this bird, monitor this bird, and do their best to protect this bird so these chicks can fully fledge, right, and continue their lifespan. So we are somewhere pretty cool right now. I'm sitting down. I'll stand up right now. We are at Smith Point, but we're at a place called the Outer Beach. And a lot of you probably know this place because many of you are from Shirley Mastic Beach. So if you could just see, you're going to see some cute faces here, how far we are from the Pavilion Beach. We're about 2.5 miles east. So go ahead and mute your mics, guys. Oh, awesome. Okay, so we're about 2.5 miles east. So we're on a barrier island called Fire Island. And you know Fire Island because we've already been there this summer, right? We did the Fire Island National Seashore, which is again about 2.5 miles that way. And this barrier island protects us from those things over there, right? Those waves. Because if we didn't have this island, these waves would be crashing on the bay side. And this barrier island changes every day, constantly changes due to the wave structure and the storms. And what did we have yesterday? A pretty big storm. So when I walked down here with the stewards, the first thing out of their mouth was, "Oh my gosh, look how things changed." Oh, you know what? It's so funny. I didn't change the view for you to see the. I'm so sorry. Here's your view to see the beach. So the first thing they said is, "Oh my gosh, look how much it changed since the last time they were here." So thank goodness for the dunes. They protect the overwash, right, when there's high tide and storm surge. So it's a pretty beautiful place. I feel fortunate to be here. I want to thank Suffolk County Parks for having us because this is spectacular. So I'm going to have them introduce themselves. And then after they introduce themselves, Lauren, who's fabulous, is going to talk a little bit about why they're endangered, okay, and what they do to protect them. And then after that, I have a story for you, okay? So we'll come back after that. So I am going to, hey, Lauren, why don't you come just because of the wind? Maybe I can get you over here. Awesome, okay. So I'll let you introduce yourself, my friend.
Okay, so hi, everybody. So my name is Lauren. I've been a Suffolk County Parks piping plover steward for about 7 years now. And I'm very excited to talk to you guys about the plovers. And this is my amazing crew, one at a time.
Wait, you might recognize this beautiful girl. This is Jess, remember Counselor Jessica? She is now a piping plover steward. So excited.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Brooke.
Hi everyone, I'm Michaela.
Hi, I'm Mike.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, do me a favor. Can you guys hear and see us okay before we continue? I can't see you. So somebody unmute your mic and let me know if you can hear us okay and see us okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, awesome. Okay. I think that was Madeline if I have my ears right. Maybe not. Okay. So, oh, it is. I told, right? No, it's Leah. I should have known. Okay. So I'm getting bit by a black fly right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's Miss Lauren. She's on.
Hi guys. Okay, so first we will start off with, what are these piping plovers and why are they endangered? So the piping plovers are a really tiny little shorebird. You can see that's them right there. And they are endangered pretty much because of human interaction. I know the flies are unfortunately really bad today on our ankles. They are a lot of human disturbance, predators, even climate change, just the way the beaches are changing. So, unfortunately, we are unable to really protect them from those natural changes in the environment, but we do our best to try to protect them from human disturbance and predators. So they've actually been on the endangered species list since 1986. They are a federally threatened New York State endangered bird. So that's why we are doing this, because here in New York, they are endangered species. And we are trying to help them be able to get off the endangered species list, which actually is required to be 2,000 pairs, and where their productivity, which means their babies, have to be about 1.5 per pair of babies to be able to fledge, for them to be able to fly consistently for 5 years. So that's a pretty intense goal to be able to reach for them to be able to get off the list. But we're trying our best. So that's why they're endangered, and that's what we need to do to get them off.
So tell me, Lauren, a little bit about what do you do as a steward? Like here, you're working for Suffolk County, you're here to protect, and so are these fine folks, right? So this is important. This is very important to the county, to the state. What is it you do?
So what we do is the beginning of the season, so pretty much when the birds arrive to our beaches, which is about April, what they'll do is they'll set up their territories along Smith Point. So you can see, they go in these dunes back here, if you can see, and they all establish their little territories, and they'll find their mate. And then when that starts happening, what we do is we put up this string fencing. As you can see here, this is our symbolic string fencing with signage to tell people why they can't go in here because of these nesting birds. And we put this up in their breeding habitat so people do not come in here, so the birds are able to nest safely. And that's what we do right at the beginning of the season to just protect them right off the bat. Then when they start to nest, our job is to be able to tell the behavior to see where the nests are. We see how many eggs they lay. And then we put what we call an exclosure, which we will show you later, around them to protect them from predators and people. And then as the season progresses, we wait for them to hatch, and then we monitor them and protect them again the best we can as their little chicks, all the way up to adulthood. And we see their productivity, and we see who made it, and unfortunately some don't. But our job also, we educate the public. We are on a beach where a lot of people are affected by what we do, especially beaches go closed. So a lot of people recreationally get affected by what we do with the piping plovers, but our job is to try to talk to them, educate them the best we can on why we're doing what we're doing, so hopefully they have a little bit more of an understanding.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just gonna turn it back to me for a second. So I've been learning a lot today, a lot. Like it took us a while to get out of here. We've been here a while, so I'm asking 10,000 questions. But the first thing I learned is that they've studied every single nest here, right? They know when the nest comes, and they will identify it by, it was 10A. So let's just say they find the first nest. It's called an A nest, right? And let's say for some reason, and we will talk about it, why that nest didn't succeed, then they'll call it the B nest. So it's to the point now where there are no more piping plovers in the exclosures, right? They've become active enough where they're cruising around with mom or dad, foraging for food. They're on their own, but they're still monitored. So Diana, who's on this call, said, this is going to be great. Come out. You probably won't see any plovers because they're cruising around and they're very shy, this and that. So no problem. We knew. We just wanted to really help you understand them and show you their habitat. Well, guess what? So we're here and we're walking towards the exclosure. Does Diana know yet? Oh, she knows. Okay. And Jessica, the fine birder she is, heard the peep of the piping plover. She goes, there's a piping plover. Now, I've never seen one in my life, right? They're an endangered species. Orange legs. Oh my goodness, there's the piping plover. So she already knew to look for the chick. Guess what? The chick was there. I've never seen this, right? We've seen pictures. So we successfully have seen a mom, we know it's a female, and her baby are here. So we'll hopefully get a chance to see them. I don't know. We can't go near them clearly. We're going to, on our way to the exclosure, we're going to take a very broad hook so we don't bother them. But if we do see them, we'll share that information with you, okay? So I'm going to turn it back. Can I ask Jess a question? Of course. So Jess,
Yes.
this was the second nest of this bird, this mom. The first nest did not survive. And this group of campers, they're eternally curious. They're not afraid of the truth, all right? So what happened to nest one with this mom bird?
Predators from this nest? We think so, yeah. So this nest actually nested on the bay side first. This pair was found on the bay side, and then they moved to the ocean side. So this nest, unfortunately, we think predators had eaten the eggs before we got a chance to exclose it. And when we exclose the nest, that exclosure, I don't know if you can see it back there, but it's basically a cage that goes over the eggs in the nest so that predators can't get in and eat the eggs. But unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to exclose this one, so we think the predators got to the eggs first.
Okay, so this is the question you guys all want to ask. I know it because I want to know, what are the predators at this specific location, right?
Okay.
There's not a lot of people, there's no houses. So like, are feral cats still an issue, or what are the main predators here at this location?
Okay, so here we do think there was a feral cat around. We did see some prints that showed that a feral cat was kind of walking along these back dunes. And surprisingly enough, especially this year, the largest amount of tracks that I've seen is raccoon. Raccoon tracks were everywhere this season, all up in the dunes, at nests, around exclosures, and they will go after eggs for sure. So especially, unfortunately, I think a couple of nests that we had that we were unable to exclose had raccoon tracks around it, and a couple of birds even abandoned their nests. I know they're bad, right? The flies, unfortunately. A couple of birds actually abandoned their nests, I think, because there was so much raccoon activity. We have seen a peregrine falcon as well. As an avian predator, they will go after exclosures even. They've actually gone after incubating birds, and they will, gulls actually too. We have seen gulls predate chicks as well.
Wow, well, you're even saying a grackle went in, right?
Yeah,
And
one year we actually had a grackle. As Jess was saying, that the exclosures protect the eggs from predators, but this was the first time that we actually were able to document that a predator, what we didn't even think was going to be a predator, something actually entered the exclosure because it could fit, a grackle can fit through the wire, and they got in and actually did predate chicks.
How about red fox? Do you have red fox here?
We haven't seen them. There's sometimes been evidence of tracks that could look potentially like a fox, but we've never laid eyes on a fox this season. We still think it's a cat. But in past years, they have been a huge problem. Okay. But this season, not so really. Much. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So I just want to ask you a quick question. Like, you've been here. How many months have you been? Sure. Here, I'm going to give it to Jess. Thanks. How many months have you been with Suffolk County Park?
I actually started in the beginning of June, so it's probably been like 2 months now.
And so, out of your time working here, and I know I've talked to Jess, like you become personally connected to these birds, right?
Yeah.
Like you follow their stories, and you're like, your heart breaks when they don't survive, and when they do survive, you are just like rooting for them. Like when we saw these birds, I thought I lost them. Like they were so excited. They were running, getting cameras, getting everything. And I thought I was going to do the show on my own for a while. So, but they were so excited. So anyway, so what's your favorite part so far of working here, Brooke? Working with Suffolk County Parks?
I don't know. I guess just like, I don't know, it was something new for me to like kind of get into, and it's really interesting to just kind of like see all the birds like so up close. Like they're so cute and they're like this big. I never thought that I would really like get like so much into it, but like it's crazy how much like I've just like been like, oh, this is this bird, this is this bird.
So
like these two and like these two have what taught me so much.
That's awesome.
It's
She's pointing to
crazy.
Lauren and Jessica as awesome people. So thank you for that, because I can imagine, you know, you do get invested in these animals. You know, you see them born and you follow their story. So that's cool. Mike, talk to us. Like being here, because guys, this could be you one day. Like look at Jess, look at Catherine. Like Jess was a camper, right? And now she's working for Suffolk County being a piping plover steward. So you can take this passion you have into action, right? And start working in any environmental direction that you want. So this is why I'm kind of talking to these guys, like, what's the story? Okay, so Mike, come on a little closer. It's a little hard to hear. So what grade are you in, or what's your story?
I actually just graduated from Stony Brook.
Oh,
December, so-
nice. Look at another Stony Brook. Okay, cool. So out of being here, what's your favorite experience so far? And maybe the most that impacted you is a better question.
Most impactful experience that I've
There's just so many to choose.
had. Yeah,
Yeah.
there is a lot. There is a lot to choose from. I guess in general, just being able to work with these birds and help protect an endangered species.
Yeah.
Help protect our environment, because we do so much damage as a species to these poor creatures.
Right.
It's only fair to do our part to help them out.
Right. I love that. Miss Michaela, come on over here. Miss Michaela. All right. So Michaela's been with here. Come just a little closer. Put our mask on. So maybe you can this. I think even a soul that's not even as sensitive as most are going to feel something following this, this bird species, and seeing what they have to go through to just survive, right? I mean, I'm hearing stories. We're gonna walk. I want to kind of keep it active. We're gonna walk over there in a minute, but I want to talk about the stories I've been hearing about these birds. Like we've got it easy, folks. Okay, Michaela, what's the most impactful thing you've really experienced since you've been here working with birds?
Most impactful thing. I mean,
whatever affected you. It could be silly too. It could be like first time I saw this cute little cotton ball. You know?
I mean, just watching their day-to-day lives is really, really interesting to see. And I don't know, just the way that they defend their babies and their eggs, I think it's just really cute and special.
That's cool. A mom is a mom is a mom is a mom.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah, I think that's impactful.
Yeah, thank you. It absolutely is. In fact, that's how Jessica knew that the plover was there. She heard the cry, and then we wondered if the baby was there. Then guess what? She heard the baby. We're like, woo, party. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're going to walk towards the exposure. I'm gonna talk to Lauren, right? And they're gonna lead the way so we don't get in the way of the baby. And while we're walking, I'm going to talk to Lauren. But I'm going to check in with you to make sure you can hear us okay. So far,
Zoe said, wait, let's see. It keeps buffering, so it's not easy to understand.
yeah. So, that's what we're dealing with. We'll do the best we can.
Ian has a question.
What's your question?
Do you need a permit to go seining under Ponquag Bridge? We want to seine there tomorrow.
You do need a permit. You do need a permit, Southampton tab.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that question. Sorry about the buffering. We'll do our best. And listen, we're gonna do some Q&A at the end too, okay?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Yeah, I was afraid of that. I really was. I'll let you get next to Lauren. Just get next to her. So, don't get too far because they won't be able to.
Yeah.
So, Lauren, you were telling me some really incredible stories coming out here about how hard these birds have to work to survive, right?
Yep.
So we were talking about this family we're about to see.
Yes.
Can you tell the kids just a little bit about this, what they've gone through?
Yeah, so pretty much, so this brood, we call them broods, it's another word for family, I guess you could say. So this brood, we call it 10A, and pretty much that's because they were the 10th nest we found this season, and then the letters go off of what nest attempts. So this bird was 10A, and then unfortunately, because she had to re-nest, it turned into 10B. And their story is pretty incredible because, as Jess was mentioning, this was a bird that laid her eggs on the bayside. We were unfortunately unable to expose, and they unfortunately did get predated. And she decided, in about a month later, to re-nest with the same male on our ocean side, right across the way. And we were able to expose this one, which is the exposure we are going to show you guys today. And she only laid 3 eggs this time. Now, with a re-nest, that's not uncommon, mostly because, you know, she went through, usually they lay 4. They'll lay 4 eggs per pair. But unfortunately, sometimes with a re-nest, you know, the body goes through a lot with these little birds, and it's not uncommon to only see 3 the second time around. Some birds will continue to lay 4, but it's rare. It's not uncommon to see 3. So she laid 3 eggs in this exposure. I will show you guys when we get up to the exposure. Hopefully, I don't know what the storm kind of maybe wiped it out, but what this nest looked like. It's a little depression in the sand that they make. And they decorate it all nice with shells to put their eggs into. It's really cute. So hopefully that scrape is still there for you guys to see, but we will show you how camouflaged it'll be.
Hey, can I just interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
Now look at, I'm going to take this camera. Look at how good they have to be in identifying a nest. Because look at the sand. It's all shells and rocks, right? So I can't wait to see the difference between what the nest looks like versus just a regular part of the beach, you know?
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're trying to identify where the plover is and her chick, so we do not get in the way.
Yes. She this bird, they hatched on the ocean side, and what was crazy was because they were experiencing some problems with the tide and some cliffs being formed, that they actually went back to the bayside. They crossed what we call Burma Road, very dangerous for a little piping plover, and they crossed it to get to the bay. And is that her running in the back, or is it just Sandling? And they crossed it, and then surprisingly enough today, the big surprise was that she actually took this chick back to the ocean side, right where we are today, which was the big surprise and amazing.
Think about what they had to do. Do you know what Burma, like, there's a dune, and then there's a fence, and then there's a whole bunch of Christmas trees, and then there's another fence, and then there's another dune. Like, I gotta give this mama, like, hats off.
Yeah, especially because, you know, the chick is about this big. And she's not that much bigger herself, so they really have to go through a lot to be able to keep crossing back and forth. And they are survivors, these guys. They are great, and that's not, luckily in this spot, we do not have the driving permitted, so they do not necessarily need to worry about the driving disturbance to be able to forage. Sometimes we do get people and surfing and dogs, and you know what? We just do our best to be able to make sure they're still okay with that. But they're surviving.
Here, let me just check with you guys. If you can you guys hear and see us okay? Give me the thumbs up or unmute your mic and let us know.
Yes.
I'm psyched. All right, we're getting close to the exposure. All right, thanks for muting your mics again. Oh, what's that? That's her. That's Mom, right there. She just flew by us, and there she is. I can't get closer, but anyway. So there's mom. So I think we're gonna sit here and see where baby is. She's behind us? What do you mean?
Baby is over here.
Oh, okay. Baby's near the
See it
exclosure.
running past that sign. It's not moving right now, but the baby is
Okay.
closer to the exclosure than I thought it was going to
Oh, guys, this is so exciting. Look at these guys all in their binoculars. Isn't this impressive? Like, this is what they do. They're like National Geographic encounters. I'm not kidding. So the baby is over there. You will not.
between that yellow sign and the exclosure.
I don't see it, but that's okay because I've seen it before. But you all will not probably, unless you have bionic eyeballs, be able to see it. But maybe could we do?
She's coming closer. She's flying by.
Oh, there's
That's
mom
her
right
right
there.
there.
There's mom right there. Guys, that is an endangered species right there that is protected by these folks that we're with today. And she's looking for food and at the same time trying to protect her baby, right? So she's, hope you can see her. She's just moving along. She's keeping a yeah, she's peeping. And that's probably her way of communicating with her chick. Yeah. Yeah, I heard it. Yeah. Hi, mama. Guys, this is incredible. Whoop, there she goes. There's mom. And she's flying. Let's see if she's going to go. She's probably going to go right where her baby is. Nope, she passed that. No, she is. Yep. She went right back to near her chick, right? So she's looking for food, and now she's also protecting her baby. So she's doing good stuff. This is such a treat. I just can't believe we got so lucky. And in that, you could see the exclosure, and I'm hoping could we go that way and still stay far? Or maybe we should. Oh, yeah. Oh, I see the baby now. Oh, I see the movement. And I'm sorry I don't have a zoom lens on this Zoom, but, it's just something we're experiencing. I'm glad that you are all here with us to experience it as well. So these are here, and like I said, we're 2.5 miles away from civilization for the most part, but they do nest in other areas where people are. And we'll talk about that later because this is not the last time we're going to be walking with plovers, stewards. We're going to be doing it in a couple of weeks, again, at a different location. So it's going to be super cool to compare and see the differences. So, we're on the South Shore, Fire Island. It's very sandy and dunes. And the North Shore is not like this. So we're going to be able to compare the habitat and I want to know about their success rates. So I'm going to, this is exciting. Okay. This is good. Because typically you are not allowed to go past this road, right? This is do not enter zone, right? We're only allowed to do so because we are with Suffolk County staff, all right? So this is not something you do. And the reason we are doing this is they know where to go to avoid affecting the plovers. So we're taking a wide berth, and I didn't wear my split flops, so I got a little issue, but I'm good. I'm good. So look at these guys. They're just doing such good work here. I'm very proud of them. And Miss Catherine, she's with me today. She wasn't going to miss this for her life. So I was asking Lauren about how many typical nests they find each year. This year, they found 24. They identified 24. Does that mean there were only 24? Nope. They only identified 24. Now, before they had a group of college students. All right, I'm taking this opportunity. Look what I'm doing. Right, that's what we do. So they had college students with them, and here, you want to do it? Thanks. They had college students with them that's all their job was, to identify and monitor and tag the piping plover. They're not here this year. Like bird migration. So they only identified 24. Last year, I think they said they identified 32. So, or 34. We'll ask Lauren again. And I also want to ask her, where do they go? Because they're going to be here soon. So let's find out where they go.
Oh, it's called migration.
Migration madness, like the game. Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. All right. So lucky us. Here, we got here. So Lauren is, I don't know how you would find that. No idea. All right, Lauren, talk a little bit about this.
Okay, so this is our exposure. This was actually 19K, our 10B exposure. This was the one where we had to, it was her re-nest, so we were able to expose her re-nest. What we typically do is when we're building the exposure, we have the nest be kind of right in the middle. So if you can see, right kind of where all those shells are, that's where the nest was. It was a little bit more of an imprint, an indent in the sand before the storm, and all those shells were actually lining that indent in the sand, and that's where she laid her eggs. And when the chicks hatched and they start coming out of that nest, that's why the shells kind of look a little bit more spread out, because they take a couple of shells on their way out when they start to walk out. But that is what the nest looks like. That's all it is. It's on the ground, and it's a little impression of sand with some shells.
Now that's just to help them camouflage, right? Because when they're settling in there, remember the pictures at camp? It's very hard to tell that they're laying there. So it's total camouflage. Now, the exclosure is really interesting. And Lauren, you could probably talk more about it. So the size of this ring, right, allows the chicken mom to come in and out, right? Yep. And keeps the bigger predators out, right? Yep. And it's pretty successful.
It's pretty successful, especially because when we dig this into the ground. So we actually, especially on this beach, because we were having fox issues and the raccoons and the cats, we actually go a foot into the ground, 12 inches deep into the ground. So this actually continues a foot into the ground. So if a predator came and started to dig to try to get under, it would just keep hitting wire, and eventually it would just probably get tired and give up. So that's why this protects them from like mammals. And this netting on top, if you can see it, we put this netting on top to prevent the avian predators to get in. So this way, if a bird kind of swooped down, they would just hit this netting and they can't get into the exclosure. And it's pretty successful. It's especially but sadly, this exclosure only protects them when they are eggs. Once they're chicks, they leave this exclosure within hours of hatching, because they have to go feed themselves. Mom is around to protect them and lead them and show them where they gotta go and how to protect themselves. But in terms of foraging, eating, they do it themselves. So they gotta come out of here and go eat. And that's where the protection really comes into play on the parents' part, because we can only do so much once they leave this, and they gotta go and exit our string fencing to forage. It's harder for them.
Question, because I thought they would stay there for a while. Do they come back into the exclosure to hang, or to still be, or they're done when they leave? They're
usually
done.
When that's it.
Wow.
I've rarely seen them come back. The only time we've seen them come back is if an egg is taking a little bit longer to hatch than the rest of them, because usually they will hatch within hours of each other. So, they all can leave kind of at the same time as a family. But if you have an egg where it's taking a day or two longer than everyone else, the one adult will kind of be with the chicks foraging nearby, and one parent still has to come back and keep incubating that egg.
Right.
Yeah.
So Jess, come a little closer to the camera. So can you, and Lauren too, because I think you've been here longer. I was talking about the number of nests identified this year is how many?
25.
And how many last year?
32.
32. So, and now when do these birds leave and they migrate, right? We're talking about migration madness, that game we play. Mm-hmm. So they're out of here soon. They do not overwinter here. So when do they leave and where do they go?
So piping plovers, even though they're super tiny, they actually go all the way down south to the Bahamas. And they usually leave in late July, early August, moving towards later August. And as soon as they are able to fly, they'll start moving, and they'll actually flock up into smaller groups of plovers, and they'll hang around before they leave. But usually the males leave later than the females, and the moms usually head on out and get ready for migration. Yeah, that's also interesting too, on how we've noticed that our last remaining families, chicks that still need to fly, the males stick around longer and will actually wait for the chicks to be able to grow up, and the females will leave and start preparing herself for migration first. which is really odd in this case because in the family that we've been following here, it's the opposite. For some strange reason, it's this female who's been defending this chick. Usually it's the male.
So you were also saying that this is weird. Well, this was interesting to me because I know ospreys will migrate and come back to the same location. Apparently, so do piping plover. So they came back. Like, tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so because of a research team, we'll give you a little backstory. Because of a research team that has been coming to our beach for a couple of years, they've been banding some of our piping plovers. So we've been able to identify individual piping plovers based off of this band. And because of that, we've noticed over years and years when some of these plovers come back, they come back to the same location. So for example, this bird, this female that we've been watching this whole time, she has a band called 19K, and that is her identifiable band. And she and a male, the same male, have actually been coming to this specific part of Smith Point for like 3 years. It's almost like now at this point, we not only do we know where the piping plovers might nest on Smith Point, but we might know which bird goes to the exact same spot or relatively close every year, which is really cool to see that they spend all this time migrating and then they are able to return kind of to the same spot. They like know what their territory is.
So I'm so excited, like just hearing all this information. So I just spotted the baby and the mom. So they're on the other side over there. You won't be able to see them, but I just got excited. So guys, do you have any questions right now? Because we've been talking because there's so much to say. How about you guys? Do you have any questions that you'd like to ask?
I have one.
Who was this?
Katarina.
Katarina, go.
I don't know if you can see the chrysalis, but we have a black swallowtail butterfly chrysalis right in this.
Wow,
This
nice.
tree.
Is that in your yard?
Yep, it's in our backyard, and I brought it in for the meeting because I had nothing else to share.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. If you have any other show and tell items, because I love them so much, let's wait till the end of our meeting.
Anything else?
Ouch. That's okay. That's okay. Thanks for sharing though, Katarina. I love it. And I want to see it again in a little bit. Okay, so don't get rid of it. Okay?
All right.
Okay.
I wait till the end of the meetings to put my thing back.
Okay, that's a good idea. Thank you, sweetie. All right, go ahead and mute your mic. Anybody else have any questions? Do we have any chats? It's hard to see. Great. Okay. Oh, you can't see it. Yeah, I figured you can't see it.
All the plovers come back to the same spot.
All the plovers. Some we're not sure. Only just because not every plover has been banded, so we can only go off of what which birds that we can actually identify where they go. But there are plenty of plovers where we've actually, if you guys know where Cupsog is the adjacent beach to us. Their inlets pretty much face each other, and we've actually had birds from Cupsog come to our beach, and we've actually had some of our birds go to their beach. And that could just be maybe in this during the season if predation's kind of bad and they want to try something new. Maybe they'll go try somewhere else. So they can switch their territories even when they've been consistently coming to a same spot every year. But sometimes something bad happens and they gotta go somewhere else. But we have had even plovers who nested at Robert Moses or Jones Beach come to our beach too. So sometimes they can switch it up a little bit, but some birds do stick close to home.
So we are getting close to our end of our presentation. I want to do some show and tell items if you have any.
Ian has a question.
Okay, go ahead, Ian. I was just going to say any more questions.
He asked what permits you need for seining.
Oh, you're cute. Let's wait for that. I'll give you everything. I'll even talk to your dad about it offline, okay? I'll make it happen for you. You got it.
Okay.
Any other questions pertaining to the plovers? So exciting. So,
How many species of an animal, how many individuals of a species does there need to be for them to become endangered?
Nice. That's a great question.
That's a good question. So pretty much for a species to be determined if they're endangered or not, their population has to fall under a certain number where if they kept trying to breed, they wouldn't be able to sustain their population in the wild anymore. So I believe when the plovers first became endangered, they only had about like 790 pairs. And that's just, they determined that that was actually not sustainable enough for them to be able to keep their population strong for the future without any kind of intervention to be able to protect them. So that's when they were deemed okay, they're in trouble and they needed help. So it depends, I guess, for the species and their location, what pair number they have in individuals. What if it's falling underneath a certain number where they can't sustain their population anymore, and that's where humans kind of come in and decide that they need some extra help.
All right, I have a question. So it was 790 pairs in the state of New York, and they deemed that low. So how many pairs do we have now? Do you know?
Yeah, actually, and this is actually not just New York. I think we have like an Atlantic coast population,
Gotcha,
so
okay.
that includes Jersey, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts.
Okay.
We're kind of like the Atlantic coast population of piping plovers, and I believe they went up to 790, and they went up to, what was it, like 1,500 pairs, something like that.
Wow, doubled
since they've been on the endangered species list. 1,400, 1,500 pairs. And as we mentioned before, they need to reach 2,000 pairs still for 5 years consistently to be able to get off the endangered species list. So, I mean, yes, our efforts have improved them greatly, but they still have some ways to go. And we were even a little nervous where if we stopped everything we were doing completely, how well they would do.
Yeah. So there's still a lot of work to do on this, and we might be needing some stewards when you guys are ready.
Absolutely.
So this could be your job. And before we leave or go to Q&A, I want to talk about one other species that you may be familiar with. And I'll just tell you, when I worked on the beach, I heard that they're called least terns. It's another bird that is on the threatened list. And they had nested. So I thought, wow, let me go check it out. Of course, being very careful, conscientious of not affecting the nest. I didn't get close. You know why? I was getting dive bombed by Mom, and she started pooping on me. I ran as fast as I could away from that nest. Like, that is smart, Mom, right? So, but you also, are you working? Oh, an osprey right there.
Oh yeah.
You have an osprey nest over there, right? A platform?
Yeah, we have several along the beach, and they mostly nest on the bay.
Yeah.
And they'll come over to forage. Yeah.
So do you do work with the least terns?
We do.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we'll go quickly with the least terns. So the least terns are colony nesters. So when they nest on our beach, they all kind of nest in the same spot. So it's kind of easier to protect them because as long as they're within the string fencing, and we'll just kind of leave them alone and they're protected too. And we're very careful with them because they will kind of nest. They don't even make nests. They just lay their eggs in the sand, and they'll lay between 2 and 3. And they'll nest kind of close to each other because they're colony nesters. So when you're going through an area, you have to be very careful, and the parents will come down and attack you, kind of. They dive bomb, as Melissa mentioned. They will come at you. They won't really touch you, but they'll poop on you. And that's how they defend their nests and babies. So a lot of people will say, oh, I don't like these piping plovers because they attack me every time I come near. And that's actually not true. The piping plovers do not do that as their defense. That's just a strict least turn thing. But they are threatened, so that's why we try to protect them as best we can too. We don't expose them, but we do make sure they're within the string fencing, so they are protected too.
Thank you. All right, so actually, yeah, you can still do this. I just want to thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Before we leave, I'm going to do a Q&A, so don't get nervous, but I'm going to have them lead us out of this area because we're in an area we're not allowed to be, so we have to be extremely careful that we're not intruding on any birds. But I just want to say that I'm so impressed by all of you, what you do. And like I said, when we saw the mom and the chick, I thought I had lost them forever. They were so excited, like passionate about this family, right? You become you know, and I know just, you know, you lose some. There's a lot of predation out here, and not all these chicks are successful, and it's devastating for them because they can't do anything about it. They can't get involved, right? So even if they know, if I did this one thing, I would protect this animal, they have to let them be. So I have to give my hats off to them for really having a heart of gold and having be a strong heart as well, you know.
Thank
you. Yeah. So guys, any questions before we walk away? And then I'm going to do the Q&A. I'm going to sit on the beach with you guys for a little bit. Any more questions on the plovers? Any chats? Okay. Okay, beautiful. So let's get out of here the right way. We'll follow the group. And get your questions, Ian. I'll talk to you about the seining. And if you have some show and tell items, we could do that. Friday is going to be a great show and tell day because we're going to be indoors at Sweetbriar Nature Center, and we'll be able to spend some time. So I would say prioritize Friday as being your show and tell if you don't have one today, okay? All right, thank you guys so much. All right, so I'm gonna sit here with them a little bit and do a little Q&A. We'll go to the water. They went a little bit there. Okay, cool. We'll keep, yeah, we're gonna go to the water. I don't know if you
see too how these birds have to forage here, and especially in a rough day like this after a storm, how crazy these waves are. Birds still have to go up the forage.
So I think this is really good, Lauren. Stick with me for a second. So the mom and the baby we saw had 3 chicks, and they lost 2 of them because one night a cliff formed from a storm. So when the babies went down to forage, they couldn't get back up in time for the wave. You know, that's just one instance on how nature does this thing. So it's interesting. It seems like
I'm not sure if it did, but it's actually gotten better because of the storm. But if you can see where that curve happened, where all those gulls are, that whole thing was just a steep.
Yeah.
And that's sadly where the birds started.
All right. Yeah. Nature's tough sometimes, right? Yeah. All right. So I will do this. I can meet you guys back over there if you want. Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna now.
Go for it.
All right. Cool.
Stay here. We're
okay. Cool.
Okay.
Awesome. So I'm just gonna sit. I can't see you guys too well. We're outdoors. Does anybody have anything you want to share?
I have something.
Say your name.
Caitlin.
Who?
Caitlin.
Go ahead. Oh, Caitlin, I missed you last week. I knew you were on, but I didn't get a chance to talk to you. What do you have?
I have my rabbit, my other one.
Oh, cool. Okay. Will you show that next week too? Because we're going to talk about mammals, and I know that would be really cool. Can you bring her back next week?
Okay.
Awesome. I love that you guys bring your animals. Here, Miss, come over here. Miss Catherine's going to come over here. Miss Catherine, what was your favorite thing about today?
I liked hearing that the numbers were going back up, and I liked hearing that as soon as they hatch, they leave. I thought that was really cool.
Look we're always learning, lifelong learners. That's what we all are. Oh, we are. All right, any more show and tell today? I'll repeat. Next week's going to be better because A, I could see it. Sorry. And B, we'll be indoors and have some more time. Anything else?
Yeah, I have a show and tell.
Who is it?
Leah.
Leah, talk to me.
Right now, this isn't my show and tell, but right now I just found a caterpillar. I put it on a leaf.
Oh, cool. Can you see what kind of caterpillar it is?
It's green. I don't know what it's called.
I wish I could see it. I could just see you. How about if you take a picture and send it to me? Can you take a picture and email it to me?
Yeah, I'll have my mom email it.
Okay, cool. Because we'll try to identify it then, okay?
Me and James, we went to like Smith Point Beach where we're at right now.
It's back there.
Yeah, so my dad was fishing and he wanted, we go there a lot and we found there's like sea bugs that like dig those like holes and like go like all the way down. And he wanted me to like catch them. He wanted me to catch them to like put them on like for bait because they're good bait. He caught a sea robin actually with one of them.
Cool.
yeah,
That's-
that's what they look like.
That's cool. Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to capture them. I called them sand crabs, but they're really called mole crabs, M-O-L-E, if we're talking about the same. Are you talking about that like little crab-like creature that when the wave comes in, they dig deep into the sand?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I have it right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we went. So we're still at Smith Point Beach, and then there's like huge waves on like the shallow end. So all the water, like the tide was like huge. It went all the way up, and everybody had to like move their things. It like flooded like all over, like all the chairs were moving and everything.
Oh my gosh,
So
I know. Welcome to, yeah.
It was a tide pool, and it was so much fun. That was me and James in the water.
That happened to me too, yeah. I felt
It
like
was
I had
so
a
much
mole crab here, but I don't. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
it was so much fun. So yeah, so that was it.
Thank you for
Look,
sharing.
oh, and you can see the water. If you can see, the water that's coming. The water coming in to the tide pool.
Yeah. Wow. I love how even though we're going virtual, that you guys are still so into showing things. I love it. We're gonna do like next week. I really want to spend some time with you guys, just one-on-one and hanging out a little bit more. Okay? Like we'll do the presentation. Yeah.
How do you send the messages?
Do you mean send me an email?
Mm-hmm.
You
like
would.
on the virtual thing?
Oh yeah, there's a chat. You can just hit the chat. You have to go down to the bottom and hit chat.
Yeah,
And then
I hit the chat, and I wrote my message, but how do you send
Oh, you want
it?
me to look at it? No. Oh, you just hit enter.
You hit enter.
Ah,
or you click send.
I wish I could see you guys. I really can't even see because I'm out here, right? At the sun and the reflection and everything. So I want you to email me, okay? If you have any questions we didn't get to, I want you to email me. And I promise we're going to spend some time on this coming Friday really doing some show and tell because we're going to be at Sweetbriar Nature Center in Smithtown, and it's really my favorite place. It is just full of wildlife and some wildlife that can't be returned to the wild because they're injured or imprinted on humans, so they use them for education. We're going to meet them. We're going to meet owls and hawks and all sorts of cool things on Friday, okay? And then after that, we'll keep some time aside to do show and tell. Is that a deal?
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Is there anything else before we say goodbye? And Ian, why don't you have your dad call me, okay? About the seining and the permits and stuff.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
good.
I wanted to know why piping plovers run away from the water. Like,
Why they do?
They get washed up in the water.
Yeah. So remember I even said like the babies they couldn't jump back up because of the cliff? Like their legs, they have longer legs so they could sustain some wave action, right? Some water, but they don't want to get into a position where they're not safe. So they'll run away from the wave and then they'll follow it back. So that's where they get those mole crabs, right? Those sand crabs are a really good food source for them. So they kind of follow the waves, but they do not want to get too wet because that would might impact them. Good question. All right, you guys ready to say goodbye? Are we ever really ready to say goodbye? The answer is no, but sometimes we have to. So I can't wait till Friday because then I got to see you. Like, again, I'm really sorry I don't get a chance to see you guys, but email me any questions and peace out, okay? My little virtual Barrens to Bay naturalists. I'll see you later, guys. What?
Bye.
Did you get the email I sent you on the Zoom yet?
Hold on a second.
Bye.
Bye, Bubs. I can't see it, Katerina.
Bye.
Can you see a chat? I can't see it. Okay, what does it say? The chrysalis is green and yellow. I wonder if it's a swallowtail.
It is. It's a black swallowtail.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Very cool. What else?
3 of them didn't survive. But then we had 6 total. 3 got attacked by this type of bug. And if I see it again, then I will trap it and I'll bring it in for the next time. And
Okay, but make sure you
also-
keep it. You don't want to hurt it, right? So it's best if we keep things out in the wild and maybe take a picture of it.
Well, the bug that is, I meant about like the bug that is killing all of our calipiters
Oh,
or
okay.
swallowtails. Three
Okay.
of them died from the bug, but then our 3 biggest turned into a chrysalis, and then you can see it's kind of yellow and dark green inside of this plant.
Okay. All right. All right. Sounds good. So we'll do that on Friday, okay, bud?
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
actually,
ciao, everybody.
It's turning
Love
a
you, miss
clear
you.
brown. It's turning into clear brown, so it's gonna come out very soon.
Oh, put it back outside. Put it back
Alright.
outside. Put it back outside. Keep it safe. Okay?
Alright.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
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 Bye. You guys wanna wait, hold on. Wanna wave bye? Bye.